Hi everyone, my name is Abhiraj Garakapati. Welcome to my YouTube channel Amazing Abhi.
Ride into another world.
That if he ever needed anything, he could come to find him. Qin Feng picked up the loot, realizing that Wang Ming seemed trustworthy. Plus, he had the backing of Daxia's government, which had many resources. Our boy decided to look for a stable sales channel to sell the unused loot. He used Greedy Hand, gaining 3 evolution points and 55 days of tradable lifespan. Acquiring Sprint Predators, bronze quality leather greaves. Our boy equipped the leather greaves, obtaining 9 points in physical defense, 5 points in all elemental resistances, along with a 15% cooldown speed. This had been a great loot since he still had many other class gears and skill books, and once his bag was full, he decided to return to the town and exchange everything for lifespan. His eyes began to shine with confidence since this time his growth was 100 times faster than in his last life. Not far from the area, another team of players was being attacked by more monsters, and seeing that the number of monsters was increasing, they decided it was better to flee. But before they could do so, another much larger monster appeared, and just before the players could escape, the monster attacked with sharp vines, killing them all. The players respawned in the town and couldn't help but feel frustrated since the monsters always appeared in groups and fled when they had low health. It was said that players had to be level 3 to leave the game, but this seemed like an impossible task. Some players thought they needed more people since a team of 3 players was not enough, believing they should form groups of 6 or 10 players. The other player argued that this was not going to work since he had seen a team of 10 be surrounded and wiped out, plus too many people were going to attract a boss. And recently the group of 40 had activated some cursed master and it had annihilated more than 30 of them in one single strike. Lizzie's team also spawned back in the town. If the players did not reach level 3, they were going to be trapped inside the game forever. They had all ended up here after falling asleep, so in other words, only their consciousness was inside the game, and if they could not get out, their real bodies were going to starve to death. Lizzie was frustrated because she did not know why the game was so difficult. Her friend panicked since they had already died 3 times, and their non-tradable lifespan had dropped to less than 10 years, and at this rate, they were going to end up dying in real life. Despite not knowing if it was real or not, Lizzie knew that they could not afford to die again. Upon seeing that Shadow was level 3, she was somewhat confused, realizing that he must have discovered some trick. She knew they needed him to carry them to level 3 in order to escape this game. Clenching her fist, she gave the order to her team to spread the word. They had to get Shadow to help them reach level 3. She was determined to give him 10 million in cash once they returned to reality. The others were in shock, but she knew there was no way Shadow could ignore the 10 million. Back in the forest, our boy took down a level 2 polluter, earning 20 experience points in 1 evolution point. After absorbing the lifespan of the monster, Qin Feng decided that he already had enough evolution points and decided to spend the 5 points he had to evolve Greedy Hand. It improved in quality, going from platinum to emerald, increasing the probability of obtaining extra loot to 160%. And now the extra loot had a 20% probability of being 1 tier higher. Qin Feng was amazed knowing that the effect was insane, realizing that if he kept evolving, it would reach 100% or even 200%. It was raining and something caught Qin Feng's attention. It was the monster called Curse Master which was wandering through the forest. This monster was a bronze tier boss and was consuming vital force to advance to a silver tier boss. For Qin Feng, it was normal that this boss had annihilated a team of 40 men. For now, our boy had a full inventory, so even if he killed the monster, he wouldn't be able to pick up the loot. So for now, he decided to mark this place on the map. The boss's evolution took some time, so he thought about emptying his inventory first and coming back later. In the town, the news that someone was offering 10 million for Shadow, the number 1 player on the leaderboard, to help them level up quickly had spread everywhere. People were dying, losing lifespan, so the rich had already started looking for a way to escape, meaning that the commenters were doomed. While people were chatting, Qin Feng appeared in the town, leaving everyone in shock. Using the system, he activated the market stall option, making the system announce that he was selling equipment and skills, with the stall available for only 10 minutes. The players were in shock upon seeing that he was wearing 2 pieces of bronze tier gear, and furthermore was selling 2 more. They still couldn't believe that he had killed a bronze tier boss. One of the players asked why they couldn't see Qin Feng's face. Another player explained that he had enabled the face concealment function, making the in-game appearance match the real one, so for this reason he wanted to remain mysterious. A mage approached our boy's stall, and with a curious gaze asked how much for the icicle spell, to which Qin Feng replied that it was 100 days of tradable lifespan. She was Grey Rose, currently ranked 11 in Shell Town, who also had face concealment activated. For Rose, 100 days of lifespan was a lot, so she asked if he could lower the price, to which Qin Feng explained that the commenter's skill icicle spell increased a mage's early farming speed, and 100 days was already the bargain. Rose asked if she could use real-world money, but Qin Feng refused to accept it, advising her that if she had cash, she could first buy a tradable lifespan and then exchange it with him. And if no one offered more, he was determined not to sell the skill until she had the lifespan. She started to ponder, and then using the team channel, she asked her teammates if this was a good offer. They had leveled up to level 2 so quickly thanks to her leadership, so they showed no objections. Moreover, with the skill, they would be able to reach level 3 even faster since the most important thing was escaping first. She asked them to transfer their tradable lifespan to her, promising to send the money when they returned. She handed over the 100 days of tradable lifespan to our boy. Seeing that all of her team members were level 2, Qin Feng realized that they must have killed at least 30 or 40 crawlers. Therefore, their tradable lifespan should be much greater than 100 days. Qin Feng sold. Before we move ahead, please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps Amazing Pi grow naturally. The spell, obtaining 100 days of tradable lifespan. Now his tradable lifespan went from 268 days to 368 days. Just then Lizzie appeared and was happy to have found Shadow. With a smile, she gave him an opportunity. In exchange for helping her ascend to level 3, she promised to give him 10 million in money when they returned to the real world. The other players were in shock. She was John Lizzie, and in our boy's past life, she was the leader of a criminal syndicate. Later, her syndicate was annihilated by the country. With a confident smile, she said that her father was the president of Dajong Industries, and seeing that our boy didn't believe her, she asked him to look her up. According to reports, it was said that she used cash to lure people into selling their lifespan, then kidnapped them for forced labor, and those who had resisted had been murdered in reality. Qin Feng coldly rejected the offer knowing that she was scum. Lizzie admitted that Shadow was strong in this game, but revealed that no one knew how the game worked yet, so she advised him to team up with her, and in return, she would make sure he lived in luxury, cars, houses, women, everything he wanted. Qin Feng did not change his mind and asked her to stop blocking his business. He better than anyone knew that cash was worth nothing. And soon, the only universal currency was going to be the tradable lifespan. Lizzie became arrogant and made it clear that if this real world, she would have given him a good lesson. With a murderous look, Qin Feng made it clear that if she said another word, he was going to kill her until her lifespan reached 0. Lizzie and friends felt the pressure, and without losing a second, they ran away from the place. A few minutes later, our boy sold the last item from his stall, the Gleam Robe of Tier Bronze. Now he had a total of 546 days of tradable lifespan. Now that he had sold everything, he decided it was time to go deal with the Curse Master. He became invisible. No one knew it yet, but the tradable lifespan could extract skills into reality, and soon this forsaken game was going to plunge the real world into chaos. Along with the real world backgrounds that people once took pride in, soon only personal strength would matter. Lizzie and her team moved away from the area. They're out of breath from running, and Lizzie shares that Shadow not only turned her down, but also threatened her. She vows to find and kill him once she's in the real world. While she's thinking this, a man named Mo Li Jun, also known as Lao Mao, approaches her. Lao Mao says he's at level 2 and claims he knows some tricks to level up in the game. He asks if he can take the 10 million offer that Shadow turned down to help Lizzie and her team reach level 3. Lizzie, feeling cautious, asks what Lao Mao means by tricks. Lao Mao tells Lizzie that he normally keeps his tricks a secret, but he'll make an exception for her. He explains that to level up in this situation, you should quickly allocate all your attribute points to agility. Doing this will make your running speed faster than the points in strength. She agrees to Lao Mao's offer, but says she'll only pay him 5 million since he's not as strong as Shadow. Lao Mao accepts, mentioning that while Shadow is strong, it was odd for him to turn down such a big amount of money. Meanwhile, Qin Feng arrived at the place he had marked earlier on the map. Still in stealth mode, he notes that the monster has advanced to the silver rank, and the gray fog around it shows it's still evolving. He activates his Venom Dart ability, knowing that the monster's evolution to gold rank will take 7 or 8 hours. Without wanting to wait, he launches the Poison Dart, which hits the monster for 659 damage due to his stealth strike. The poison then continues to harm the monster at 219 points per second. He quickly jumps at the monster, using his Shadow Sneak skill, understanding that the silver boss monsters help his 2 or 3 times that of a bronze level 1. Suddenly, the monster starts gathering a massive amount of magical energy in its hands, making it grow larger. Qin Feng figured he just needed to hit the monster with his Venom Dart skill 2 or 3 times, but suddenly, the monster unleashed a powerful attack, destroying the surrounding area. He explains that this monster is a magic-type boss, with skills that deal a lot of area damage at once. After launching the Venom Dart, he quickly retreated and barely escaped the attack's range. Still invisible, he realized that, with his current health and defense, he wouldn't survive if he took the monster's attack directly. As the battle continued, the monster started charging another big attack. Its massive form turned toward him, but he stayed calm, moving carefully across the battlefield while watching his cooldown timer. His hidden shadow ability wasn't ready yet, so he needed to wait for the boss to show a moment of weakness. The plan was simple: wait for the right moment, strike precisely, and disappear before the monster could hit back. Moments later, the creature stumbled, briefly distracted. This was the chance. Without waiting, he moved forward, using his Venom Dart skill. The attack hit perfectly, dealing 659 damage. Almost right away, the venom started working, draining the monster's health by 219 damage per second. Seeing the danger, the monster tried to escape, but Qin Feng wasn't going to let it get away. He followed closely, his eyes focused and determined. The monster was nearly defeated. Its attempt to run away was useless. In a swift movement, Qin Feng vanished and reappeared on the creature's head, slamming it into the ground. The system quickly confirmed his. Before we move ahead, please take a second to share on this video. Sharing helps this video reach friends who may also enjoy anime, gaming, travel, cricket, chess, career basics, or personal stories. Your support helps Amazing Apai grow naturally. Victory! He had defeated the silver-ranked boss. A stream of notifications appeared before him. He gained a total of 1,800 experience points and leveled up from 3 to 5 instantly. He also received 4 evolution points in a surprising 124 days of tradable lifespan. He chuckled, noticing how a single boss kill boosted him 2 levels and gave him extra evolution points. As the monster's body turned into loot, he used his evolved skill, Greedy Hand. The air shimmered as a system screen confirmed the loot was collected. The rewards were even better than he expected, with another 4 evolution points and an extra 124 days of tradable lifespan. Doubling his gains, the generous rewards made him smirk. 2 extra bonuses right away were impressive. He realized the silver-ranked boss had given him a total of 12 evolution points and 372 days of tradable lifespan. Just as he was taking in his rewards, another system prompt appeared, revealing an unexpected bonus. The secondary effect of Greedy Hand had kicked in, upgrading one of his looted items from silver to gold rarity. He looked at the notification with interest, a gold tier item. It made sense why Greedy Hand was considered a Jade level skill. It could enhance loot beyond its original quality. His focus then turned to the scattered loot. 7 or 8 pieces of gear had dropped, but he only had 10 slots left in his backpack. He sighed, realizing that running back each time he defeated a boss would waste a lot of time. He knew that a storage ring or something similar would have been perfect to solve this problem. Just as Qin Feng was about to check out a specific item among the loot, the scene suddenly shifted back to the Shell Town. There, the mage from Wang Meng's team appeared, in a flash of light, her face showing relief. She was finally back, all thanks to Wayne Meng. As the rest of the team followed, they thanked him, admitting that without his leadership, they wouldn't have reached level 3 and returned safely. But Wayne Meng brushed off their praise, saying their progress was due to everyone's hard work. The mage, however, couldn't let go of a lingering regret. She sighed, wishing she had managed to add Qin Feng as a friend in the forest. She thought maybe it was because she had been covered in mud at the time. Her teammate reassured her with a playful grin, saying that with her new outfit, she looked great, and surely the mysterious player wouldn't reject her again. As they chatted, a system announcement echoed through the town. The leaderboard had been updated. Shadow had reached level 5. The news shocked the players in town. Someone couldn't believe how Shadow had jumped from level 3 to 5 so quickly. The only explanation was that he must have defeated a powerful boss monster. Another player mentioned that just 10 minutes ago, he saw Shadow casually selling gear in the town square. And now this. Another guy said that his sister had just turned 18, and if Shadow liked her, it would be a big win for their family since having Shadow's help with leveling up would be a game changer. His friends quickly dismissed the idea, reminding him that Shadow wasn't interested in 10 million cash, so he wouldn't be interested in a matchmaking proposal. Back at Wayne Meng's camp, his team was starting to worry. They had just celebrated reaching level 3, only to find out that Shadow had already moved far ahead. But Wayne Meng stayed calm. He told them to put their worries aside for now. They needed to log out, return to reality, and warn their families and friends about this dangerous game. As their bodies started to fade, the system confirmed their logout. Wayne Meng's last words were serious. If the world was heading toward chaos, they had to prepare their loved ones. The scene shifted to the real world. Wayne Meng's eyes opened, and a voice quickly called for the captain. He wasn't just any player. Wayne Meng was a police officer. His fellow officers rushed to him, visibly worried. One admitted they were scared because his body had started to turn transparent while he was unconscious. The terrifying truth was clear. If a player died in the game or lost all their life, they didn't just log out, they disappeared from the real world. But there was no time to dwell on that horror. Wayne Meng stood up and called for everyone to gather as something serious had happened. Someone asks Wayne Meng about his report. One man explains that he and his team formed a party, and each member had a hidden profession, which was a big advantage in the game. Yet, they were almost wiped out by a single monster. They were only saved at the last moment by an unknown player, Shadow. Wayne Meng confirms that his report is accurate. He then describes Shadow's incredible progress. When Shadow helped them, he was at level 3, but by the time Wayne Meng and his team reached that level, Shadow had already moved up to level 5, a huge jump of 2 levels. This news worries the higher-ranking officers. One of them asks the obvious question, does this mean Shadow is now the strongest player in the world? How did he level up so quickly? The speculation starts, and Wayne Meng suggests that maybe Shadow defeated a high-level boss monster or did something equally impressive. Another officer, curious about the details, notices an inconsistency. According to Wayne Meng, Shadow was already at level 3 when he saved them. If that was true, why didn't he log out like the rest of them? Could it be that Shadow had no close family or friends waiting for him in the real world? A female officer comes up with a daring idea. She thinks Shadow might be a transmigrator, someone who shows up suddenly and gets stronger fast as if destined for power. She says that transmigrators are often orphans, which might explain why Shadow hasn't come back to reality. Her words make the room go silent, and realizing the weight of what she said, she blushes with embarrassment. A senior officer, not impressed, calls her NEU and tells her to stop making jokes during a serious talk. He dismisses as her idea, saying she's been reading too many novels. Then, shifting back to the main subject, the officer shares some crucial information. Secret reports from the higher-ups reveal that researchers are studying a worrying pattern. Many older people have been mysteriously dying in their sleep. When researchers compared this data with those who had returned from the forgotten game of the gods, they found something alarming. It turned out that those who died in their sleep had also died multiple times in the game. This shows a scary truth. If a player's lifespan hits 0 in the game, they don't just die there, they die in real life too. One officer shares his worry, saying the forgotten game of the gods isn't an anomaly, something way beyond what they understand. The head officer agrees, suggesting that they might be facing an invasion by unknown beings from higher dimensions. The room goes quiet as everyone takes in this heavy thought. Without delay, the head officer moves on to urgent matters. He tells everyone that the higher-ups, probably the government, have given an emergency order. All officers must form vanguard teams based on their locations, enter the forgotten game of the gods, and gather as much information as they can. This is no longer just a police issue. The government is setting up a special force to handle this unique crisis. He highlights the global scale of the problem. Every nation is rushing to explore and understand this new reality, and falling behind would mean losing international standing. For national security, they must gather information at all costs. The head officer that announces his decision, Annie, who will be the captain of Team 1. She accepts the role without hesitation. One man is appointed as her vice captain, and they are given the power to pick their team members. Wang Ming nods, understanding how important their mission is. The head officer then turns his attention to Shadow, the mysterious player Wang Ming met. Based on Wang Ming's story, Shadow doesn't seem to have bad intentions. Because of this, the head officer orders Yu and Wang Ming to try and befriend him. Their goal is to find out who Shadow really is and work with him. He explains why Yu is in charge. Her deep knowledge of games and stories makes her the best choice to investigate someone like Shadow, whose abilities and actions seem almost like those in myths. The head officer hopes that Yu and Wang Ming can make Shadow an ally, someone who could represent them in the game. If they succeed, they will get access to vital information that could give them a strategic edge. The other police officers are tasked with keeping public order and stopping any mass panic. With that, the meeting ends. As the sun sets and casts a golden glow over the city, the officers get ready for the challenges ahead. The next day, the scene shifts to a high school where the protagonist's younger sister sits at her desk, lost in thought. Around her, students chat excitedly about recent news. A small group nearby talks about a surprising discovery. Shang Wai, the student whose body had started to vanish, has reached level 3 in the game and logged out safely. One of the girls shares that Chang Wai revealed something important. If several people from the same district fall asleep at the same time, they will all end up in the same starter village in the game. This news stirs both excitement and worry among the students. Another girl, alarmed, insists that this won't work. She feels she must bring her parents into the game. They have no gaming experience, and she's scared something might happen to them if they enter unprepared. But another student disagrees, saying they shouldn't rush to involve their parents yet. They should focus on getting stronger first so they can protect their families when needed. Meanwhile, the protagonist's younger at her phone, deep in thought. A nagging frustration grows inside her. Why hasn't her brother reached out to her yet? With something as big as the forgotten game of the gods happening, she expected at least one message from him. But there's been nothing. He hasn't checked on her or even apologized for hitting her earlier. That was completely unlike him. In the past, whenever they argued or upset him, he would always find a way to make peace. But today, there was only silence. No apologies, no attempts to make things right. Even their parents had never laid a finger on her, yet her brother had struck her. Still upset, she tries to justify her actions. All she did was skip. Before we move ahead, please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps Amazing Pi grow naturally. Class to see Song Fi's concert. Was that really such a big deal? She pouts, deciding that unless her brother calls and apologizes at least 1,000 times, she will never forgive him. Her annoyance quickly turns into excitement as she starts talking about Song Fi. Looking back, she's glad she went to see him yesterday. Once the forgotten game of the gods takes over, she might not have many chances to go to his concerts. A dreamy look appears on her face as she remembers last night, thinking about how close she was to him during the show. She pictures Song Fi on stage and can't help but gush over how amazing he was. Then she realizes, if everyone enters the game world while sleeping, that means Song Fi will too. Her face turns red as she imagines meeting him in the game. Could this be her chance? Is fate finally bringing them together? Her heart beats faster at the thought. As she gets ready to sleep, she suddenly remembers something. Shang Wai had reached level 3 really fast. That meant he was probably already an expert. If she wanted to do well in the game, she needed some good advice. So without hesitating, she sends Shang Wai a message, asking if he has any helpful tips before she enters the game world. Meanwhile, Shang Wai is with his classmates when he gets her message. He looks at his phone and smiles. He's amazed by the situation. Who would have thought that someone like the protagonist's younger sister would ask him for advice? He sees this as a great opportunity. This was his chance. Whatever that meant, Shang Wei quickly replies, saying she's asked the right person. He shares an important game secret. At the start, she should put all her attribute points into agility. If she doesn't, she won't be fast enough to escape monsters and will keep dying. She asks if this is true even if she chooses a mage class. Shang Wei assures her it is. Agility is useful for mages too, he explains, because it boosts casting speed, which is key early on. Still unsure, she asks what if she still can't win after improving her agility. Shang Wei confidently tells her not to worry. As long as someone in their village reaches level 5, the village teleportation formation will activate, connecting all the starter villages. Once that happens, she can just join a random party to help her level up, and he will come find her when the teleportation circle is active. Hearing this, she feels very happy. Lying on her bed, she smiles to herself, thinking how handy people like Shang Wei are. Just like that, she's found someone to help her out. As she starts to fall asleep, another thought pops up. This is great. She'll get into the game before her brother level up quickly and become strong. When her brother finally joins, she'll make sure he has a tough time. No help, no support, he'll have to manage on his own. Happy with her plan, she drifts into sleep, excited for the adventure ahead. The scene shifts back to the game where the protagonist stands over the loot from a defeated boss monster. Among the treasures, a glowing orb catches his attention. As he picks it up, a system notification pops up, saying he has obtained the curse ring, a gold tier item. The system then details its attributes. The ring can be used by anyone and gives a boost of 8 points to all attributes. It also increases dark elemental resistance by 26 points, and makes weak point attacks 1.5 times stronger, but you need to be at least level 4 to wear it. Looking at the benefits, the protagonist sees that the total boost is 32 points, similar to leveling up 3 times. Plus, the ring's dark resistance will be helpful against many enemies, and the weak point attack boost is a nice bonus. Knowing this, he sees the curse ring as a valuable item for his journey. Before he can think more about his new item, another system notification shows up, saying he's learned a new skill called Instant Shadow Slash, a silver tier assassin type ability. The system explains how it works. When used, the skill sends out multiple slashes in one direction, reaching up to 15 meters. It also gives temporary invincibility for 5 seconds, hitting all enemies in a 2.1 meter wide path 3 times. Each hit deals 100 damage and counts as a backstab, but it doesn't hit weak points. The skill has a 12-second cooldown. Seeing how useful this ability is, the protagonist knows it's a strong area attack with the bonus of temporary invisibility. He quickly learns the skill. With some evolution points left, he decides to improve one of his key skills, Greedy Hand. The system takes 8 evolution points and upgrades the skill from Jade rank to Diamond rank. The effects of Greedy Hand get a big boost. The chance of getting extra loot from defeated monsters goes up from 160% to 220%, and the chance of that loot being upgraded by 1 level increases from 20% to 40%. Thinking about this upgrade, the protagonist realizes that with this improvement, he'll now get 2 pieces of loot per enemy, making each kill 3 times as rewarding. Not wanting to waste his remaining evolution points, he upgrades Instant Shadow Slash by 3 levels. The system takes 3 evolution points, leaving him with just 1. The skill quickly evolves, moving from silver rank to gold rank, and finally reaching platinum rank. The skill's attack range has expanded, growing from 15 meters to 21 meters, allowing for greater reach. The invisibility now lasts 7 seconds, giving him a bit more time to stay safe. The number of slashes has increased from 3 to 5, hitting all enemies in its wider 3.1 meter path. The cooldown is slightly shorter, going from 12 seconds to 10.43 seconds, which makes it a bit more efficient but still needs careful use. Each strike now deals 200 damage, doubling its previous strength. Every attack counts as a backstab, triggering the backstab skill effect, even though it can't hit weak points. Seeing these upgrades, the protagonist knows that while the cooldown isn't much shorter, the skill's ability to keep him invisible longer can be a big advantage in fights. Looking at the rest of the loot, he quickly sees that most of it isn't useful, but one item stands out, a silver tier warrior skill book, Battle Roar. He knows selling it will give him more tradable lifespan. Just as he finishes checking the loot, he notices something moving. Turning around, he sees 3 huge creatures coming toward him. Without delay, he recognizes them as level 4 limb crawlers, ugly and dangerous monsters. Instead of being scared, he sees this as a great chance to try out his improved skill. He quickly activates Instant Shadow Slash. In a flash, he becomes a blur, launching a series of fast slashes that cut through the creatures with ease. The limb crawlers are torn apart before they can even react. As the dust settles, a system notification pops up, confirming their defeat. The system records his win, giving him 80 experience points and an extra 5 days of tradable lifespan as a reward. Standing in the aftermath, a dark, intimidating aura surrounds the protagonist. He calmly thinks about his new power, realizing that his ability to defeat enemies has greatly improved. He thinks about a strategy, figuring that if he uses his poison dart skill with Instant Shadow Slash, he could win battles before they even start. Checking his tradable lifespan, he sees he has 618 days, but to bring his game skills and gear into the real world, he needs at least 900 days, or about 2.5 years. With that goal in mind, he plans his next steps. First, sell all the valuable items in his inventory. If things go well, he might reach the required lifespan sooner. Once he hits level 10, he can finally connect the virtual and real world. The scene shifts to the protagonist heading back to the starter town, invisible thanks to his latent image skill. Moving quietly, he hears a conversation nearby. A man congratulates a woman on reaching level 3 and reminds her of a promise. Watching them, he sees that it's Lizzie and Liao. Their talk reveals a deal they made before. Liao had agreed to help the Lizzie reach level 3 so she could log out of the game, in return for 5 million in cash. Now that she's reached her goal, Liao is expecting his payment. Lizzie reassures him, asking if he really thanks her father's company. Young Industry can't spare such a small amount. She tells him she'll log out and handle the transaction in the real world. Before leaving, she gives Liao her phone number and tells him to contact her after he logs out. She then makes another offer. She wants to buy all of his tradable lifespan, offering 10,000 in cash for each day's worth. Liao eagerly agrees, excited about money he'll make. With a smug look, he remarks on how foolish King Fen was for turning down Lizzie's offer, saying they can talk more about the deal when they meet in reality. Unseen by them, King Fen moves silently between them, hidden in plain sight. Liao, unaware of King Fen's presence, dismisses the importance of lifespan in the game. He thinks there's no need to worry since he can gather lifespan just as easily as in-game currency. For him, turning game achievements into real-world money is the best strategy, and he feels clever for figuring this out. The scene shifts to the starter town, where King Fen stands in front of the teleportation gate. As he stretches out his hand, the gate glows with bright blue energy. As the light grows stronger, a system window appears, congratulating him for activating the teleportation formation in Shell Town and awarding him 1 rep. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Amazing Appy. Subscribing makes sure you do not miss the next video, and it gives me motivation to keep improving the quality of every upload. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.